Asians in Britain, photography by Tim Smith, and introduction by the late Nazim Khan. Published by Dewi in 2004. It's just that under 10 inches by sort of 9 inches. It's quite squarish, but not quite, if that makes any sense. 132 pages. It's got a lot of pictures in. Really stunning opening shot. Hardcover and retailed at $16.99. I paid about £3 for this, and I had a look on Amazon and other bookstores online today, and it's literally going for £1. So it's a book you can get a hold of really cheaply, and I think it's a nice edition. I was fascinated by it when I saw it, and I questioned what it was about. I worked on a book called My Sikh Life many years ago for Wayland Publishers, and I did a lot of books for them many years ago where I was looking at different parts of the Indian and Asian communities to do books which would give a little bit of education and understanding to the rest of the country. And they were really interesting. I learned a lot, I ate a lot, and I was welcomed with open arms, and it was fantastic. And I've got a lot of friends who are in that term Asians. It's not really a term I use a lot, but I've got a lot of Sikh friends, and they're an amazing community of people. So Nazim Khan was, he died, I think, a couple of years ago, about 2017. He was a journalist, OBE, I think he was recognised. He was a historian, and he wrote this introduction to the book in 2004. So I don't know much about Tim. I do know he had a previous book out on the Ukraine, and I've not picked that book up, so that might be worth a little look. It looks quite interesting. And I read some of this, and what I got on the surface about the pictures was that it was all about the integration, how the Asian community fit within British culture, and how I'd say that colour, in terms of, it's a very colourful, there's always a very colourful backdrop to Indian culture, Bangladeshi culture, Pakistani culture, and it's very colourful. So this book's in black and white, which is actually a really interesting sort of take on it as far as I'm concerned. And I wonder if some of the pictures are colour neg and shot and transferred black and white for some reason, because they don't feel like they're shot in black and white neg. I might be wrong, but I'd like maybe Tim to throw some things at me on it. I'd love to have a dialogue on it. So it's quite, I would say, it's a sort of cross between some photojournalism and some quite interesting factual shots, you know, like this portrait, for example, and there's other shots which we may come across, and some really good portraiture. It's a great shot. And it's, as Nazim was saying, and what he was sort of looking at within the context of the book, it's how the Asian culture find identity, and how they're integrating their past cultures within British society. Yeah, let's look at it. It is a nice book. Like I said, it's shot in black and white. It's the backdrop's all colourful, really, and it's an interesting take on the fact that it's shot in black and white to give it, I don't know what it gives it, a neutral balance, maybe? It's sort of, we're not presently judging on skin colour effectively, or we're not, what's the balance? So maybe if I read a bit of Nazim's work, intro, I'll get an insight into why it was shot in black and white. But let's bypass all of who and what and why, and let's look at some of the constructions of some of the shots. This is Shah Nawaz, I think come to Britain in 1950. I think it's in Birkenhead. Beautiful shot. We had a great portrait. It was great editorial, great sort of Guardian type shot, if that's anything to sort of complement Tim's photography on, with some reportage it looks like a textile mill in Huddersfield. And I wonder, the layout of this book, it feels like it's more of a historical piece in a sense. Like I don't know, there's a little, I like stuff like this. Whereas I'm not really, that's a great shot. And that's a good shot there. I'm not really getting the balance of the shot. What's more important, the dynamics of the individual or the dynamics of the page. And I think we're trying to tell a story about the dynamics of the people, and whereas that lets you think, lets you relate more, and that's Bradford, and that's moving into a new house, it's obviously measuring up. It's a great shot, absolutely great. This is better. I like the way there's text, I like that, very old schooly. I think the picture size like that, it's nice. And this is in West Yorkshire, Bingley Mills. And then we've gone back to that sort of small cap layout where that's okay. It's nice. And there's a lot of text, which is a good insight into what this book's about, the subject, you know, and that's nice. Look at that. That should be big. That's a great shot. Jump down on that. Making plates. Oh, sorry. Making pikelets. What is a pikellet? For supermarkets at the British bakeries. I guess it's food then. Many of the staff are drawn from the East London Asian communities in 1998. Wow. Well, I'll have to find out what a pikelette is. Fabric shop in Dewsbury. Manchester Beauty Parlour. That's nice. Shimla Pinks in Birmingham. That's good Indians, isn't it? Asian restaurant. Upmarket restaurant, I should say. It's a nice portrait. There's some nice photography. There's some. If you want, I think you should get this. It's a nice insight into certain parts of culture, certain people. If you're thinking of doing something similar, it's a nice reference book. And for the price, what you can pick it up for now, it's pretty a sort of invaluable part of that collection. And I think as a photographer myself, and hopefully other photographers who are watching this, and people maybe, whatever profession or whatever you are within the profession, that you can use stuff like this to sort of give you a guide and cut my waffle and just go, I'm going to go and get that book and have a look. And that's the purpose of camera, really, in this context of the books, is just to make you get out and buy the books and give you ideas to take other pictures and ideas on presentation and how not to present your work and stuff like this. And I think this is lovely. That's a great shot. That's a lovely shot. I like the dynamics of the guys. Sorry, I haven't got it in. They've got the calendar. I'm looking down. That's good. And then that shot there, which is Benzer Bouteau. It's a great shot. And I just think the tone is losing, when they're small, I think the tone's losing some of the essence of it. It's a bit the grey flat on it, and I think they're just not as powerful that small. And that's a really interesting shot. This is about Salman Rushdie's Satanic Verses. This shot, you know, anybody with half a brain, when they put NF and they put the Nazi thing on there, it's just mind boggles. But even to associate AC/DC with that is just crazy. It's unbelievable that them two things could even be that close together. It's ridiculous. I don't mind putting AC/DC on. I don't think graffiti's a bad thing, but that is just NF stuff's just it's appalling, really. So it's nice, some nice, really interesting. I think these would look really great, really big in a newspaper, somewhere like the Independent. And I'm sure probably it did feature in the Independent at the time. Some nice stuff, nicely composed. It's got a good eye. I just question the tones within the shoot. It's very muted, and I'm not sure if that's his style, what he was trying to create with that. Because, like I said, there's a lot of colour within the context of these communities, and especially the buildings, especially in Huddersfield and places like Bradford and stuff like that. There's a sort of lovely colour to the buildings and other things, and I wonder if this book's lost that. It's in Gurdwara in Leicester. If anybody's ever been to Gurdwara, oh, it's amazing. And that's the sort of church, the temple where the communities gather, and part of the Sikh culture is that they feed and help I think the poor other people, members of the community. And if you're ever in the area and you want to just go in and witness it, you'll always be made to feel welcome. If it's a Gurdwara, go in and get some food and be part of their association and culture for an hour or so. It's amazing. Honestly, the food will knock you out. And it's not something new, it's something which they do, the Sikh community, and we don't appreciate things like that. We would never do stuff like that. Or we do help and feed the communities, I get that. But that's usually a charity based or something like that. This is part of their culture. So this is Bradford, 1987. Some nice portraits. This is Jemima Prasadam, Anglican minister at a church in the Lozells area of Birmingham, 2002. So there's a range of pictures here from 90s to the early 2000s. That's a great shot, isn't it? What's that? Decorating a lorry of carnations for the Sri Dashmesh Sikh temple in Lozells in 2002 in Birmingham. Right, brilliant. Look at that, it's a lovely shot. I can see that as a big editorial shot. It's shots like that which will make the rest of this, and because I think there's a lot of shots like that in here, there's some good shots. I think the book needs to be designed differently. That's my opinion. Otherwise, great photography. I just don't like the design of it. It needs to be bigger, the pictures need to be bigger. It's a really interesting subject matter. But like I said, I think it's a great book. It's a great addition to your bookshelf. It's cheap, and get it, and keep it as a reference for good photography, insight into other cultures within our culture, as a reference to other cultures, traditions and heritage within the British culture, the whole umbrella of our society. And maybe educate yourself a little bit and realise it's not something which is alien to us all. Limousine collecting a groom from his home above, like Mr. Bradford for his wedding ceremony in Halifax. It's a great shot. Getting the birds as well, it's great. Wedding shot. I've been to a Sikh wedding and it's madness. They throw money at the bride and everything, and it's just a whole day of eating and dancing, and that's a great shot. Look at that. I've seen this shot published somewhere. This is Bradford 92. That's a good shot. Look at that. Getting ready for family outing at the home of Sikh family in Pudsey, West Yorkshire. 2001. These young boys would be like 20 now, 20-odd. Great. That's good. That's in family picnic in East London. That's a good shot. That's the purpose-built mosque in Leeds. Saturday night on the Melton Road, Leicester. Oh, Dracula daytimer. Fireworks. Celebrations for Diwali and Halloween are advertised on Green Street in East London. Applying makeup, the fashion show. Models backstage at the fashion show. So let's get sort of low. Look at that. This is supporters of the Pakistani cricket team at a match against West Indies at Bradford. And I've been to a few cricket games where we played Bangladesh and India, and it's good fun. There's a lot of singing, a lot of noise. And it looks like we're in Leeds. I'll tell you who did a really interesting insight into, let's say Asian football community up in Bradford, was John Bollerton's book. And I put a link onto that somewhere. I've got a link on that and let you see it. That's a really good insight into that sort of football culture with different communities up in the north. That's great. It's a cover. This is watching a performance by a community group at the Leicester Mela in 2001. It's great. Look, it's such a strong shot. As is that. Dance workshop organised by Aditi, the National Association for South Asian Dance, at the Hindu Temple in Leeds. And then we're heading to audience at Amateur Dramatics, and then we're on Tower Bridge on the Embankment. This is West End Musical, Bombay Dreams. And that's some sort of Lake District shoot for Bollywood, I think. And that's great. At the Bradford millennium, whatever it is, meeting our old friend in West Indian Carnival and Chapeltown. It's a great mix, isn't it? Look at the two old dears there. That's a lovely shot. Pakistani's biggest celebration is Brewing Kite Festival of Bazant held in Lahore. Wow. I never knew that they had a kite festival. That's amazing. I love them. You see, the book's ending. Look at this. The book's ending with these shots like that. Look at that, the dynamics. Look at the dynamics. Look how good. Look how now we're celebrating his photography. Look at how it works. Look at it. And that's what I think is lost within this book, is that once they're big, they're like, boom, stunning, love them. I want to follow them, I want to look into them. The tones, the greys, they don't matter. I'm just interested in looking at them. But almost this, I just think this sort of smallness side, look at that, is like where, I can't find one now, but like that. So it's just too much reference. I just find it a little bit referencey. Anyway, these are great. Look at that shot, Mother India. And we're going to leave on this shot here, which is advertising Lahore ice cream at the Leicester Mela during the summer of the Football World Cup in 2002. Doesn't seem like 5 minutes ago. 16 years ago. Wow, 17 years ago. It's an interesting book. Well done to Tim. We put some work into that. I think it's a great presentation and a great insight into your eye and the way you work. I think it's some lovely pictures. Get out and get this book. Give you an insight into cultures within our own culture and their culture, which is our culture. We're all together. Have a look at it. Educate yourself. Get an insight and into some good photography. Design, I think, left a little bit to be desired for me. But other than that, overall, well done, Tim. Rest in peace, Nazim. Thank you to Olympus for all your help. Keep subscribing, share the channel. Thank you very much.